During the physical examination, activity is observed more formally. Examples of possible casually observed mismatches of stated pain levels and true activities would include, for example, let's talk about an example of a person reporting right shoulder pain. The examinee reports right shoulder pain and indicates on a pain drawing diagram that the level of pain is an 8 on a 10-point pain scale. However, during the interview process, the examinee is noted to gesture freely and at times forcibly with the right upper extremity, even raising the right arm quickly overhead to emphasize spoken points. You note that whatever pain may be present in the shoulder, pain does not interfere with the ability to raise the arm quickly and forcibly. This is minimal pain and does not qualify as an 8 on a 10-point scale. This would be an example of an inconsistency between the stated level of pain and the observed function. What about an examinee who reports lower back pain? For example, an examinee reports lower back pain and states that anytime he bends over, he gets a sharp pain in the lower back. Now, during the interview and during casual observation, you note that the examinee sits comfortably for over 30 minutes, sitting upright in his chair with his knees and hips flexed to 90 degrees. You note that he rises quickly from the chair without assistance from the hands. During the physical examination on lumbar spine flexion testing, the examinee bends over, touches his toes with his fingertips, and states that there's a sharp pain in the lower back when he does this. What do we know? Well, we know a lot, because even though we don't know what the pain feels like, we don't know where the pain is coming from, we don't know what type of pain there is, and we don't know how they feel about the pain, we do know that whatever pain is actually present, the pain does not interfere with the ability to perform lumbar flexion. This is another example of minimal. Now, these examples and many more that probably come to your mind from your own experience illustrate the QME evaluator's role in translating the pain language expressed by the examinee into language that can be used in the workers' compensation system. While the language of the 1997 Permanent Disability Rating System is being used less and less as dates of injuries advance and the AMA guides become the required method now of determining permanent impairment, it's my opinion that the pain definitions of minimal, slight, moderate, and severe pain also have application to the AMA guide systems, particularly as applies to activities of daily living assessments. Now, because the AMA guides rely heavily on an assessment of the impact of the injury or condition on the ability to perform general activities of daily living, the activities of daily living assessment should be a formal part of the face-to-face evaluation of the injured worker. And there's two ways that we can assess activities of daily living in the face-to-face evaluation with our injured worker. The first involves the use of written symptom questionnaires, and the second involves an activities of daily living assessment interview conducted by the doctor with the patient, again during the face-to-face evaluation. The AMA guides describe the use of many different types of symptom questionnaires, and for those of you that are viewing the PowerPoint presentation, I have a listing of many not all, but many of the symptom questionnaires that apply to the evaluation of injured workers, many of which are specifically described in the AMA guides, and I'll just mention those by name here. By the way, all of these questionnaires are available for download at ezqmece.com. They're available as PDF files, and they're all in beautiful, perfect condition. They're not copies of copies of copies. So if you need any of these symptom questionnaires, feel free to go to www.ezqmece.com and access the symptom questionnaires that you need. Examples of symptom questionnaires that you'll use depending upon the type of case that you're involved with would include a pain drawing diagram, would include the CATS hand diagram, that's KATZ for upper extremity and hand cases, the West Haven Yale multidimensional pain inventory you may use. You'll use a neck disability index, a headache disability index, dizziness handicap inventory. You'll use a revised Oswestry low back questionnaire. And these are all different questionnaires that attempt to assess the impact of the condition on the ability to perform different and varied activities of daily living. You'll use the DASH questionnaire, the disabilities of the arm, shoulder, and hand questionnaire. You'll use the SPADI, or the shoulder pain and disability index questionnaire. You'll use a Roland Morris low back pain and disability questionnaire. For psychologic symptoms, you'll use a Beck depression inventory, or a Hamilton rating scale for anxiety, or a Beck anxiety scale. And these and many other types of questionnaires are available on our website, and you can refer to some of these questionnaires, most of which are specifically described in the AMA guides on pages 578 and 579. Now, in my opinion, symptoms and activities of daily living questionnaires have somewhat limited application, because there are limitations and inconsistencies of the use of these questionnaires, and those limitations lie in the fact that, number one, they're completely subjective, and number two, they're almost completely non-verifiable. And this has been raised to me as an issue many times in deposition, when defense attorneys pull out symptom questionnaires that have been completed by the injured worker, and the question simply becomes, doctor, are these statements made on these symptom questionnaires, and are these boxes checked, and is this portrayal of the injured worker's condition based on subjective factors? And honestly, the answer to that is yes. And so symptom questionnaires are largely based on subjective examinee factors, and that's one of the reasons that I recommend that the symptom questionnaires be completed in the presence of the examiner during the face-to-face evaluation, rather than simply mailed to the examinee prior to the appointment, or simply completed in the waiting room prior to the evaluation, because there are some indications on the symptom questionnaires that can be compared to casually observed observations during the interview and examination. However, many of the categories on these symptom questionnaires are completely non-verifiable. For example, I've never been able to go into an injured worker's bedroom at night and verify their reported difficulty with sleeping. and I've never been able to go into an injured worker's bedroom at night and be able to observe their reported difficulties with sexual activities. So, in my opinion, symptom questionnaires have to be reviewed carefully and have to be taken so-called with a grain of salt, but they are instruments that we use, and they do have some value. I place more value on the face-to-face assessment of the activities of daily living. And I want to go into a procedure now for you to use and for you to integrate into your formal face-to-face assessment of the impact of the painful condition on your examinee's ability to perform activities of daily living. Now, the AMA guides, they discuss activities of daily living on page 4, and there's basically 8 different categories described. They are: number 1, self-care and personal hygiene activities; number 2, communication activities; number 3 is physical activities; number 4 is sensory function activities; number 5 is non-specialized hand activities; number 6 is travel activities; number 7 is sexual activities; and number 8 is sleep activities. And I want to go into now an example of how you would do an activities of daily living assessment, considering first of all these self-care and personal hygiene activities. And then we will extrapolate that procedure to the other categories of activities of daily living that are described on page 4 of the AMA guides. Now, the activities of daily living assessment requires us as qualified medical evaluators to translate the reported impact of the injury, condition, or pain as it's described by the examinee on the ability to complete activities of daily living into language that can be used to determine the presence or absence of permanent impairment as a result of the injury, as a result of the condition, or as a result of the pain. And one way to do this is to take the examinee on a journey through the activities of daily living categories, while you as the evaluator mentally assign a rating of minimal, slight, moderate, or severe to the description given by the examinee. So let's consider the example of this assessment as it relates to self-care and personal hygiene in the case of a person with reported lower back and right leg pain. For example, a lumbar sprain strain injury with reported radiculopathy. So how would the activities of daily living assessment, at least as relates to self-care and personal hygiene, go? Well, this is a following example of a hypothetical case and some sample dialogue, and this is an exercise for you doctors to mentally assign, silently assign in your own mind the rating of pain to this description as it's given by the injured worker. And remember, our categories are minimal, slight, moderate, and severe. Okay, so this is an example of sample dialogue. And this is the doctor speaking now. Doctor says, Mr. Smith, I'm going to ask you some questions about how your lower back and right leg pain affect your ability to do various activities. Now, these activities are termed activities of daily living. And these are activities that you would do on a daily basis as you go about your day. The first of these categories is self-care and personal hygiene. I'm going to ask you some questions about self-care and personal hygiene. Now, Mr. Smith, do you have any problems with being able to manage your own self-care and personal hygiene? Mr. Smith: oh yes, I have trouble doing most everything. With my pain, I can barely function. Doctor: okay. I'm going to give you a list of various self-care and personal hygiene activities, and I want you to tell me if or how your lower back and right leg pain interferes with your ability to care for yourself, okay? Okay, considering urination. Mr. Smith, do you have any problem using the bathroom for urination? Mr. Smith: no, I can urinate fine. Doctor: Mr. Smith, do you have any problem using the bathroom for defecating? Mr. Smith: no, I can defecate fine. Sometimes, though, because of my pain, I have trouble wiping myself because of the twisting. Doctor: I understand. Do you wipe yourself, or do you have to get help with this? Mr. Smith: oh yeah, I wipe myself. Doctor: Mr. Smith, do you have any problem with brushing your teeth, combing your hair, or bathing? Mr. Smith: yes, it hurts my lower back and my right leg to bend over the sink to brush my teeth. And when I shower, it hurts to bend over to wash my feet. Doctor: I understand. Can you brush your teeth by yourself? Oh yeah. If my back is hurting, I just do it standing up instead of bending over. Can you wash your feet? Oh yeah. I just put one foot up on the ledge and bend over to do it that way. Doctor: got it. Doctor: Mr. Smith, do you have any problem dressing yourself? Mr. Smith: yes. I have a lot of lower back and right leg pain with putting on my pants and my shoes and socks. Doctor: did you dress yourself in coming here to this evaluation? Yes. Doctor: Mr. Smith, because of pain in your lower back and right leg, do you have any problem with eating? Mr. Smith: well, kind of. I have pain with sitting down to eat a meal. Doctor: are you missing meals? Have you lost weight? Mr. Smith: no. I guess I'm not missing any meals. Doctor: uh-huh. Doctor: Mr. Smith, can you think of any other examples of how your lower back and right leg pain interferes with your ability to handle your own self-care and personal hygiene? Mr. Smith: no, that's about it. Now, this would be an example of minimal pain, because the pain in the lower back and right leg, however constant, however severe, and however impairing it's felt to be by the examinee, it does not really interfere with the ability to perform the activities. In this case, we're talking about self-care activities. Now, this is a valuable insight, and I repeat this procedure with each of the activities of daily living categories right down through the list. With communication, does the pain interfere with the ability to write? Does it interfere with your ability to type? Does it interfere with your ability to see? Does it interfere with your ability to hear? Does the pain interfere with your ability to speak? Does the pain interfere with any other communication activities or in any other way with your ability to? Does the pain interfere with physical activity functions? Does it interfere with the ability to stand? Does it interfere with the ability to sit? Does it interfere with the ability to recline? Does it interfere with the ability to walk? Does it interfere with the ability to climb stairs? Now, in the case of lower back with right leg radiculopathy, you could expect that your examinee would give you some descriptions of pain with standing, with sitting, with reclining, with walking, with climbing stairs, etc., with other physical activities. The question becomes, does the pain interfere with the ability to perform the activity? Can you stand? Can you sit? How long can you walk? How many stairs can you recline? You want to get a sense of how the pain interferes with the ability to perform the activities of daily living, while in your mind you assign a category of minimal, moderate, or severe. Similarly, with sensory functions, does the pain interfere with your ability to hear, to see, to feel, to taste, to smell? Does the pain interfere with your non-specialized hand activities of grasping, of lifting, of tactile discrimination? Does the pain interfere with your ability to travel, to ride as a passenger, to drive a car, to fly as a passenger in an airplane? Does the pain in any way interfere with other travel activities? Does the pain interfere with sexual function, Mr. Smith? Now, in the case of men, sexual function, normal male sexual function includes ejaculation and erection. Does the pain in any way interfere with normal male function of erection and ejaculation? For women, normal female sexual function is lubrication and orgasm. Does the pain in any way interfere with those activities? Other activities that your examinee may report is that they may report that they have pain with various positions of sex. The question then becomes, okay, are you able to have sex? Does the pain interfere with your ability to have sex? Many times in your workers will say, well, no, I just have to be careful, or I just have to modify positions. And so that would be an example of minimal impact of the condition on the ability to perform activities of daily living. Does the pain interfere with your sleep? Are you able to get restful sleep? Do you have a normal sleep pattern? Do you have daytime sleepiness? Now, this procedure helps immeasurably to assist in translating the examinee's descriptions of pain into something that we, as qualified medical evaluators, can work with. And I recommend that this assessment of activities of daily living be done with each examinee. And I recommend that it be done in the face-to-face interview rather than by means of a pre-completed form that's simply filled out by the examinee in either a checkbox or fill in the blank format. Because you're after evidence of how the reported symptoms, in this example was symptoms with the lower back and the right leg, we're after evidence of how the symptoms actually impact or impair the activity. And the AMA Guide's 5th edition defines impairment as, quote, a loss or loss of use or derangement of any body part, any organ system, or organ function. And this is found on page 2 of the guides. And also it defines impairment by stating that, quote, an impairment may lead to functional limitations or the inability to perform activities of daily living. And in the example above, the lower back and right leg pain, they don't really or only minimally do they impair the daily living activities of self-care and personal hygiene. So this discussion and this description is given to you to be a practical tool that you can use to translate what it is that your injured worker is telling you into language that you can then use as the qualified medical evaluator in coming up with the conclusions, particularly as relates to permanent impairment. And I hope this has been a valuable exercise for you.